Greetings and welcome. I'm Rebecca Carner, Biofield Tuner, and we are going to take just a couple of minutes to settle in here because this is a completely new setup for me. And so I'm having a little bit of a learning curve, so please bear with me. If anybody out there right now can either give a thumbs up or type in something in the chat to let me know if you can hear me on my mic. And I'm even going to strike a fork because this was the only way I could do. Okay, I just got a thumbs up. All right, so I'm hoping everybody can hear me. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so today is a YouTube live. This evening is a YouTube live. The format and how I'm doing everything is just a little bit different. This is an experiment in terms of technology and formatting and miking, but the topic is not an experiment, and I hope to make a kind of big concept fairly accessible, and that is the concept of higher self. So it has been referred to by many a person. I often say to clients when they come in for private sessions, there's no way you can mess this up. If you have any questions, if something comes up, if you need to ask something, if you need to shift positions, go get a glass of water, that's fine, because this is your session and I am just an intermediary between your higher self and you here today. And I've said these things for a long time, and recently some of the content creators and scientists and astrologers and authors and people who I really respect and whose information I use to inform me have been really underscoring the importance of creating and deepening a relationship and an active awareness of your higher self. And every time I hear this, every time it is spoken, it just feels like, yeah, this is the ticket. This is how we do it, right? This is how we move forward. This is how we this is how we discern our path. This is how we know if we're overthinking things, if we're having a thought, or if we're shitting on ourselves, or if we're actually listening to our quiet inner voice. That is the higher self. So with that, we're going to get a little bit more deeply into it, but for starters, I'd like to really ground each one of us and ground the entire collective field, because while the higher self isn't necessarily a bespoke or proprietary biofield tuning concept, I am largely a biofield tuner. And so I'm going to start this session just like I do every other session, whether it is for one person or for many people or for a place or for an animal. I'm going to ground us electromagnetically. So as to give our biofield a place to sort of anchor itself, right? Secure itself. And to really ensure that the frequency and vibrational and electromagnetic work that we do runs appropriately through our systems and has a place to ground and discharge if needed. So I'm doing that now. because the concept of higher self is really in that way kind of a private one, right? It is you and your highest aspect. It's sort of you and you. So while we are doing this in community, each one of us is going to work on establishing really lovely contact this evening with our own higher self and the sort of sovereign, individuated, distinct quality of that I will speak to in just a moment. So I just grounded our Earth Star chakra. Now I'm moving up to our Sun Star chakra. So, again, if you're not really familiar with some of the terms I'm using, no big deal. Imagine yourself like a AA battery being plugged into a little battery charging unit. And if you can imagine, I've just sort of activated the positive and negative nodes, right? So that while we do this work today, not only are we going to, good, not only are we going to tap into and connect with our higher selves, we're also going to be raising our voltage and charging while we do it. Two benefits in one tuning. All right, excellent, excellent. Okay. So some of the fundamental. All right, so let's start with something super practical. Hey, Rebecca, why would I want to do this? All right. Things are wackadoo out there. Life is weird. I don't know anybody who isn't in some form of transition. It doesn't matter what age demographic you are. It really doesn't matter. I mean, I've tuned people all over the world this year alone. It doesn't even matter what country you live in. It seems to be a little bit uncertain, a little bit wavy gravy, a little bit odd out there. Yeah, that's a thing. So each of us is trying to understand, how do I do me in all this? Intro, higher self. That is literally why this is a thing. This is why this is a thing right now. This is why it's a good idea. That's why I'm making this video. If you are trying to discern big decisions, if you are trying to discern small decisions, if you are having self-awareness, growth edges, self-actualization, if you are battling depression, profound anxiety, if you are battling various forms of addictions or repeat patterns in your life and really want to get off of the cyclical loop, want things to feel different, if it's relational, professional, personal, artistic, whatever, right? How do you discern? How do you catch yourself from doing the things that you don't want to keep doing? And then, even if you do catch yourself sort of mid pattern or mid bad habit or whatever, how do you know what to do next? How do you know your next best step? You can ask counsel, you can ask friends, you can ask your spouse or your partner, you can ask your dog or your goldfish, you can ask your pastor or your spiritual guru. But in the end, they will tell you something from their arena. They are going to tell you their opinion, their idea, or something that is theirs. They can't tell you you. Nobody can, but your higher self can. So fundamentally, this concept branches off of the idea that we are, all right, so here, all right, so if you are just looking at a hand, but the hand is blocked and all you see is the fingers, right? You think, oh, these are all individuals. This is Johnny, this is me, this is Betty, this is Sally. Okay, and then you remove the barrier and then you realize, oh, wait, we're all humans, like we're all part of this energy thing. Oh, wait, and we all live off the sun. Oh, wait, so does our dog, and so do the plants, so do all the things. So, our higher self is the aspect of each one of us that exists outside of when the energy that animates the meat suit that everybody calls Rebecca, right? The essence that is me, the electrical charge, the zhuzh, the divine arrival that is me, is my higher self. And that exists outside of this body, and it exists out of this time and space such that I experience it, right? I am transmitting this from Atlanta, Georgia on the evening of May 22nd, 2025. But my higher self has been through all the time that Rebecca has been here. My higher self, who's not even a she, will be through all of the time that I have yet to live into. If your lexicon includes past lives and all of this, it higher self has been through all that. If your lexicon includes 4 different densities or dimensions, your higher self is present concurrently, has been, will always be through all of that. The higher self is your first individuation as a fractal energy signature off of the big source intelligence, the big source, the thing. Some people call it God, source, universe, galactic center, cosmic egg. Again, call it what you will. The thing that makes all the things, whatever your idea of that is, when it drops down from the thing that makes all the things into the thing that makes you, that is the highest self. Good, 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 good. Ooh, all right, let's put a few tones on that. Excellent. Everybody take a nice big deep breath. Really, really good. Really, really good. So I invite you all, if you are driving or riding on a subway or streaming this on your phone some kind of way and you are in a public place, just do as you need to do to feel safe. If you happen to be in a safe place or optimally at home, then I hope that you can get into a safe and comfortable position. And we're going to go into a little meditation. And imagine connecting, not imagine, use our imagination for our conscious brain to connect with our higher self. So good. Wow, thanks. All right, so for the veterans out there who do this kind of thing on the regular or have done it before, like immediately I could feel traction with the fork. Really, really good job. So just imagine relaxing and softening, and if you can breathe into your breath and arrive, kind of ride on a little airwave and arrive into your interiority and relax into good. Relax into whatever position, whatever support you have, if you're sitting or laying down. And relax and soften, and relax and soften. And whether your interior space is dark like the galaxy or dark like space, or whether it's light like the quiet room in the Matrix, just imagine softening and letting a lot of the material world and a lot of your material body kind of recede in your awareness. And get as comfortable as you physically can. And then imagine yourself moving through space. Moving through space, moving past all of your memories, all of your past lives. Moving through all time to come, through all dimensions and possible dimensions. And arriving in a space that feels both very familiar and very safe. But isn't really anywhere. And imagine just in front of you the beginnings of really beautiful light starting to shift and morph and shape, starting to illuminate and sparkle in front of you. And the benevolence and love and trust, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is you, it is your highest aspect, it is the you that has always known you. It is the you that only knows what's best for you. It is the energetics that animates you and loves you. And this illuminated space in front of you is the infinite space of the higher self, of your higher self. And for this evening's purposes, it's really just about establishing connection. It's about knowing that this is a thing and that in the space of a few breaths that you can arrive yourself into connection and into active engagement with this quantum organizing intelligence that is also you. And if it takes on a shape or sort of takes on a voice, if the shimmering illuminate light takes on a color, that's great. It may stay the same, it may shift over time. Because it is the aspect of you that exists outside of your physical experience. It really doesn't matter what it looks like on any given day, but you'll know that it's you because you can feel it, because you can feel it in your heart. It will never, a lot of people use words and concepts like angels, use words and concepts like higher dimensional beings, intergalactic beings, star nation beings, God, Yahweh, Elohim. I mean, it goes on, right? And in the land of all that is, it's not for me to say whether something does or doesn't exist, or whether it's being called by the right name or the same names. But if all of those entities do exist in that way, they may have wonderful gifts to share. But at any given moment, they may not be a frequency match or a density match for where you are in your journey or where you want to take yourself. And so, how do you discern? How do you know whether to accept their blessings or technology or whatever? You ask your higher self. Your higher self, Dr. David Clements, a British physicist who has really devoted the last couple of decades of his career to what he calls living energetics and the technologies around that. He says your higher self is the key and the core of you, and that your higher self is the gatekeeper of you. And this is really important going forward. I think in terms of the information, frequencies, different codes, different potentials, possibilities, AI, algorithms, advancing quickly advancing technologies. We can't know what's right for us. There's going to be a lot of trends. There's going to be a lot of things, interfaces that are available. And how do you know if you can trust that? How do you know if that's, quote, right? How do you know if it's right for you? How do you make these decisions? The thing, and because everybody's in a different place, everybody has different needs, everybody's got different concepts, and people have different life paths, different karmic, they're at different places on the karmic wheel. Everybody's different. So, and what we're here to learn and play out and experience is absolutely individual and unique to us. And so, if any of these forthcoming possibilities are right for us, we can only know that through running it through our own higher filter. Right, right. Good, good, good. And if that sounds really lofty and out there, well, I think it might be. But I think to a lot of you, it's also going to make a lot of sense. And that's really just a thing. And then for the more sort of mundane and pedestrian application, how do we know whether to take the job or not? How do we know whether to retire right now or not? How do we know whether to stay in our relationship and deepen it or shift it? How do we know whether to downsize or keep our home for the next 15 years, right? How do we know? Every, you know what they say opinions are like, right? Everybody's got one, but that doesn't mean that it's right for you. That's right. You know, I I adore this British astrologer, Pam Gregory, and one of her calls has been just on repeat lately to book stillness dates with yourself, to just get quiet. If you really don't think, I can't meditate, that's not my thing, okay, fine. Go for a walk, get quiet, read a book, pet your cat, pet your dog, pet your yard, pet somebody else's yard, pet a park bench. Get quiet, put down your phone, put down your tablet. And when we get quiet, that's when our higher self, that's when our inner counsel that knows us, that's when we can connect. And that's when that quiet inner voice, that inner knowing can be really sure, and it can be a full body knowing. But so much of the time, inner knowing is very, very quiet. There are some times, lately, I don't know. There's some times when I've just really known a thing and it's a full body yes. And if every one of my molecules had a little symbol on it, it would be like bang. Um, but a lot of the time, A really, really strong knowing is actually almost deafeningly silent, right? It's super quiet. Nice. And that is your higher self. Right. In biofield tuning, we often talk about distinguishing the signal from the noise. Right. So your signal comes from your higher self, and the noise is everything else. Everything else. It doesn't matter how popular, it doesn't matter how loud noise is. Even if it's at decibel a million, noise is noise. Signal is coherent. Signal is resonant. Signal is truth in that way because your next best step is resonant truth in your system, in your field. Yeah. That a bald guy. Hi, Sam. I see I'm being able to read the comments as well. And I am very, very jealous of you being in the mountains in a jacuzzi. That sounds lovely. You know, mountains, the increased ions in forest bathing, at the beach, near water, near large salted bodies of water, all of this. Yeah. Again, all of these things are like conductor accelerators to our higher self. Really good. Really good. And then for those of you who are looking to change, improve, heal, optimize, when you create this relationship and what will then become a sort of inner dialogue, but instead of like the sort of monkey mind of inner chatter and ideas and ma and shoulds and oh my god what ifs and blah, 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 right? Okay, that's not your higher self. Your higher self will never should, and your higher self will never what if and yikes yikes. Okay, that's when you know that you're on some sort of mental carousel with some of your inner parts. And that is not a relationship with higher self. A conversation with higher self tends to have a slowness to it and a quietness. It might ask a couple of clarifying questions, or it might ask a question of you. Your higher self might ask you to, like a discerning question. For instance, should I take that job? It might prompt you to ask some questions underneath that question as guidance, but it will never, it's not frenetic. It won't run circles around you. You know, and the thing is that your inner voice never worries what anybody else will say because the only thing your higher self has in its windshield is you. And not in an egomaniacal, egotistical kind of a way. It's in this completely cherished, precious, healthy, holding kind of a way, right? Where it knows that if it supports you, that if you are doing you in the best you way, that is right, and that then everything, all of the surround sound, like if you are your most glorious, brilliant, radiant you can only improve and benefit and have sort of good interactions with all that is around you, right? A coherent field, a clarified, resounding, reverberant, illuminated field outputs the best and clearest and most coherent information. It inputs and is able to discern information with great clarity. Like that is, that's the biggest, baddest biohack, right? It's not a shortcut. It's just like the singular resonant one note Johnny gong note that's always you and it's always right. It's perfect pitch for you. Yeah, nice. All right, well, I am going to, with that, I'm going to add a couple of harmonics, binaural differentials into the field of this. This is my 417 and the 528. 111 is the differential of the frequencies. Good. One more. Nice. And then I'm really going to wrap this up so that each one of you is sort of swaddled, if you will, with this connection point with inner self. Let's wrap that one more time. And I'm going to connect it up. I'm going to wrap it one last time. Excellent. All right. Well, thanks for joining me on this experiment, everyone. I hope this helped. I hope the concept was explained well enough. And if you sort of got quiet and felt like you connected in with an inner knowing, then we did it. if this is a concept when you get quiet, when you pray, when you meditate, when you contemplate, if you're just noticing the light on the leaves as you walk your dog or something like that, this is this is your higher self. This is how we move forward. This is how you build trust in yourself and faith in the universe. This is how you begin to know what's right for you, because that's just really going to be a thing. And really, this is your quickest, most expeditious inroads to feeling better. If something's been hurting, if you're having fear, anxiety, troubles, struggles, cultivating this relationship really, really supersedes like any relationship externally that you can cultivate. This is the one. Begin here, return here, anytime, all the time, every day, any day, right? All right, you guys, have a great, great evening. I heard the words loud and clear. Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay. Oh, awesome, awesome. All right. Well, thanks for running this experiment, everyone, and be well. Have a great evening. Bye for now.